What's up, VC? What's up, vinyl community? How you guys doing? It's Dan hanging out with you for Dan's Vinyl Channel. It's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been since Black Friday. I did my Black Friday hits and misses video. So it's been a minute since I've been hanging out with you guys. It's so good to see you again, and I hope that everybody had just an awesome holiday season. I know I did. And I'm still I'm getting over it. I've got this cold, this crud that's going around right now. I was talking to Rod, the happy hippie. Seems like it's stretched all the way down south to where he is as well, is up here in Missouri, because I have a cold myself. So it's good to see all of you guys. And I wanted to do this vinyl tag video because I saw a vinyl tag video from David Newton, a good friend of mine in the VC, and he's like, Dan, you all right, buddy? You been okay? Doing great, man. Just have a bit of a cold right now, as everybody can tell. So it's cool to hang out with you. It's cool to see you guys again. Thanks so much for stopping by and clicking on the link. So as we get into Vinyl Tag 2020, 2019 was a great year, especially in music and vinyl and discovery, which is, the best thing about being in the vinyl community is discovery and finding things, and maybe finding things that you never really would have listened to before. And it's because vinyl, or the love of music and the love of records, the love of these flat wax discs that we love so much, have led us into doing a lot of searching, and we find things that we might not have ever listened to. So the best find of 2019 rather, as we start the vinyl tag, is I've got to talk about this. I found this at Recollect Records, and this is honestly my best find of 2019, and you wouldn't think so. It's a compilation album. It's Japan, and this is a compilation album. This is kind of a greatest hits album. It contains songs from two of their albums, Gentlemen Take Polaroids, which came out in, I want to say, 1980 or 81, and also Tin Drum, that came out in, I believe that was 1981. So I think maybe Gentlemen Take Polaroids came out in 1980. This is kind of a greatest hits of Japan, of those two albums. It's kind of a strange comp because it just contains those two records. There's nothing for Quiet Life on here, which is unfortunate, which is also an excellent album. If you ever see any Japan out and about, guys, I think you might be pleasantly surprised. David Sylvian on the cover here. What caught my eye was the album that we're listening to right now is actually David Sylvian and Hold Your Zuke of Can, the bass player, and this is the album that we're listening to currently. It's Sylvian Zuke. This is Plight and Premonition and Flux and Mutability. This is both of those albums. It's kind of obvious, an ambient soundscape type album. It's just absolutely entrancing and beautiful and haunting, and I love it. And I was in a record store in Boulder called Albums on the Hill. Andy, the owner, he was there. He was playing this album as I was looking for records, and I was like, man, who is this? And he said, it's David Sylvian and Hold Your Zuke of Can. And I'd never heard of David Sylvian. And he said, yeah, he's from Japan. Next day, I'm in Denver. I go to the Recollect Records, and I find this Japan album. It's like, okay, this was obviously meant to be, and fell in love with Japan. And ever since, Japan has been, I've played the ever-loving crap out of their albums, and of course David Sylvian as well. So this was the best find of 2019. It led me into directions that I never thought that I would have been led into before. Very art pop, very synth pop, art pop, great stuff. Make sure you check it out if you ever see it out and about. This was my best find. Japan and their Japan self-titled compilation album here, and you just take a look at those guys. Complete New Romantic style. These guys were the real New Romantics. I mean, they lived it. So Japan, fantastic stuff, just great. All right, so as we get into the next question on the Vinyl Tag 2020, favorite album of 2019, hands down, best album that came out to me in 2019, comes from a band from Dublin. They're called Fontaines DC. You guys have seen me talk about this. Sorry about that. I haven't taken the shrink off of this one yet. This is their debut album called Doggerel. It came out, and it is a post-punk joy. I mean, the entire record is absolutely fantastic. If you guys see this out and about, you dig post-punk, you dig the punky stuff, make sure you check it out. Fontaines DC and their album called Doggerel. The lead singer kind of has this Ian Curtis thing going on, so there's some Joy Division. He kind of dresses like Ian Curtis, and if you listen to like Joy Division's unreleased material, it kind of sounds kind of like the Fontaines DC. I really think you would like it if you're into that post-punk sound. So Fontaines DC, their album Doggerel. This was a cool record. It came on this cool transparent yellow vinyl. I'm not really big into the colored vinyl, especially the light colors, because it's really hard to see scratches, but it looks really good back there on the deck. So Fontaines DC and their album Doggerel, check it out. That was the favorite album that came out in 2019. This next one is what a novelty record that you have, and I don't really have too many novelty records. I don't hold on to them very long. This one I'm going to be giving to a friend, and this is the Star Trek Stories novelty record. It's pretty cool. I really like the artwork on it. If I had a place where I could hang up some cool artwork like this, I definitely would. But the Star Trek, and it's kind of awful. It's really bad impressions of the guys. I could see somebody in the 70s really digging on this. If I was a kid in the 80s and I had this record, I probably would have played the ever-loving snot out of it. And let me see here. I'll show you the label here. It's on the Peter Pan label, which is it's familiar to me. I've seen that label before. I don't remember where, but I must have had a Peter Pan label when I was a kid. So that's the novelty record there. The old Star Trek. 3 exciting new complete stories and really bad, impersonations of all of our favorite Star Trek heroes. All right, moving on. Homage cover. It pays homage to another artist. So I don't really have. I've looked through my stuff and I'm like, I can't find anything, and I was back there in the stacks and I'm just like, it was very, very hard to find something. So I was looking around at some of my records, and this one popped up. And I'm going to show this record because I haven't seen it get a lot of love in the VC. And it's not homage to another band artist, but it's an homage to the cover of a movie. And I wish I had the movie to show you guys, but this is Ghost Opus Eponymous. And those of you who are fans of Salem's Lot will know that this is very much a Salem's Lot kind of homage. I mean, it's basically the same thing. You got Papa Emeritus 1 there, overlooking an ancient cathedral. Bats. This is just great stuff. Just a killer kind of Scooby-Doo album. It's kind of got that Scooby-Doo chase scene soundscapes to it. It's a lot of fun. Ghost is a great band. I've got all their studio albums. I really enjoy every single one of them. This one came on this was a colored vinyl version of this album, and it was kind of a goldish color. It's kind of nice. I've got like three records by Ghost that are actually colored vinyl. I think it's kind of hard to find just black vinyl by Ghost there, and this is on the Rise Above Records label. So Opus Eponymous by Ghost. If you dig Ghost, if you dig some Salem's Lot, you'll understand the connection there between that album cover. So that's an homage. Let me see here. A B-side or a deep cut that you really enjoy. And let me find this record. I sat it somewhere. amongst this mess. And I've just got a stack of records here, guys. I'm going to talk about this album, and you guys have probably seen me talk about this before. Naked Eyes. This is the UK version of this is called Burning Bridges, and it's got a different set list on it. There's some songs on this that are deep cuts that are, to me, better than the songs that we would know. And one of them is Emotion in Motion, and the song Burning Bridges. These are the deeper cuts on the album also. I mean, just everything on here, I Could Show You How, is another one of the deep cuts that are pretty amazing on this record. This is a pure synth pop record. This is if you're a synth pop purist, this is just hook after hook after hook. Excellent production and very danceable tracks, the entire album. They were known best for their cover of Burt Bacharach's Always Something There to Remind Me. It's the weakest song on the record in my opinion. Promises just totally lays waste to it. There's a different version of Promises on this record than the release and on the remasters. So if you ever see this out and about, this is normally about $5. I paid $4 for it, and it's been one of the best records that I've listened to. It's Naked Eyes, and their album Burning Bridges, I don't know, this is their self-titled here in America. It was called Burning Bridges over in the UK. So Naked Eyes, check out I Could Show You How, check out the song Burning Bridges, check out the song Emotion in Motion. Great stuff. Really, really cool. Really love it. All right, something funky. Guys, it doesn't get more funky than some Living Colour. This is Vivid. This was released in, I want to say, 1987. This is funk, metal, reggae, hip-hop. It's all in here. This is a fantastic record. You guys, you can pick this up pretty cheap, about $15. Totally worth it. One of the heaviest songs on this record, Cult of Personality. You've got songs. What's that other song? That's Open Letter to a Landlord. And there's another cut on this record that's pretty. It's been a while since I listened to it. There's another Glamour Boys. So pretty funky stuff right here on Living Colour's Vivid album, which was co-produced by Mick Jagger, and apparently these guys went on tour with the Stones to support this record. So pretty cool stuff. Very funky, very heavy, very cool. Just a great, and look at that album cover art. I mean, that is just fantastic stuff. Living Colour's Vivid, definitely some funk happening on that record. Weird Shelf Buddies. I've had some weird shelf buddies, and I can't find it right now. This was Shelf Buddies. I'll just tell you, this Whitesnake Slide It In was Shelf Buddies with Nielsen Schmielsen. So I don't have, I think I put Nielsen Schmielsen back there. I have the stack here, and I think we listened to that the other night. So I think it's back there. But Whitesnake and Harry Nielsen, kind of strange shelf buddies there. Don't know how that happened. Just sometimes you just kind of shove records in. It was totally in the wrong place. But yeah, doesn't get much stranger than that, perhaps. I don't know. It could have gotten a lot weirder had I had that Nielsen in the metal section, in the deeper metal section. But yeah, Whitesnake Slide It In, and Harry Nielsen there, Nielsen Schmielsen. It's a great record too. Both of those albums. All right, I Was There, a band I've seen. Now, come on, guys. You guys are going to be like, man, this is a week. Everybody's seen these guys. And it's true. I think a lot of people have seen them, but REO Speedwagon, this is their infamous, ugly record. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Gosh, this album just, it's you could almost smell it. If my nostrils were working, I could smell the fish. So why would I say, yeah, I was there, I saw them? Okay, I worked in a radio station back in 1996, and I got to intro these guys at a county fair. I got to be up there and be like, you guys ready for REO Speedwagon? Yeah! You know, and everybody just, it was really cool to have that power. So I kind of abused it a couple of times. I was like, "You guys ready for REO Speedwagon?" Everybody's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Are you sure you're ready?" You know, I mean, it was like one of those things. I was like, I just wanted to control that crowd. It was awesome to kind of have like thousands of people screaming at something that you say. But I got yelled at by REO's road crew because I was talking into Kevin Cronin's microphone. That's a no-no. All right, so yeah, Kevin Cronin, interesting guy. Nice enough, but yeah, I can understand, man. I don't want just some, somebody else speaking into my mic, getting slobber all over it. So I can't really blame him, but I felt a little weird after that against REO for a minute. I was like, "Yeah, man, you're gonna be a jerk about it, dude." But anyway, yeah, I was there. REO Speedwagon. I got to introduce him. It was pretty cool. "Are you sure you're ready for REO Speedwagon?" It was like I could have just kept up there for a long time. The next album, I wish I had an OG copy, but I have a repress. This immediately came to my mind. Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime. This is the repress, and it sounds terrible. That's the only reason. I'm not okay. I do like OG presses, but this just sounds like you put a pillow over the speaker. It just does not. It's quiet. It just sounds bad. It looks wonderful. It's in this nice thick stock. It's got a great inner sleeve there. I just really wish that I had an OG copy of this album, which I hear sounds so much better than this. But Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime, one of my favorite albums of all time, and I've got to stream it because I can't really. This is just not an enjoyable copy to listen to. I'm normally not like an audio snob, so it's got to sound pretty bad for me not to like. I've got Danzig bootleg that I like way better. That sounds way better than that. So, and that's an actual Capitol repressing that came out. I want to say it was like 2011 or something. So anyway, discography I own. I own all major releases of an artist or artist that I own the most of. I'm only missing a couple albums by the band Genesis. And the albums I'm missing are Selling England by the Pound and From Genesis to Revelation. Genesis, and I need Selling England by the Pound. That's just something you don't see very often. People hold on to those copies. They hold on to Selling England by the Pound, and they hold on to The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And for good reason, because they're excellent records. This is an excellent record. This is one you don't see that often. I had to special order this one. This is Genesis, We Can't Dance. This gets a lot of flack. This is a great album. Driving the Last Spike. Guys, amazing. I love the song, I Can't Dance. I think it's got a great riff. I think Mike did a great... I think that Mike Rutherford did a great job. That's one of the best. Great stuff. Genesis, We Can't Dance. I like this album. It's not my favorite Genesis album, but I do love it, and I do listen to this a lot more often. But yeah, so I'm missing a couple by Genesis. One of these days, I'll just find them. They'll be there. I have found From Genesis to Revelation. To be honest with you guys, I'm looking for a really dirt cheap copy of that one because it's just not really. It just doesn't feel like Genesis. But I feel like to complete the entire catalog, you have to have it. So anyway, yeah. That would be Genesis. I own most of Genesis stuff. So as we take a look at the next question, a unique center label. And why did I have this one? That is not a unique label. A unique center label. I must have these in order. I'm gonna have to come back to this one, so we're gonna hold on that one. Unique center label. Pre-band or... Okay, so this is pre-band. An album or a band that featured someone who went on to be famous. So, I don't know if this one counts. But I'm gonna use it anyway. David Bowie, Let's Dance. featuring Stevie Ray Vaughan. He went on later the same year that this came out with, he released his album Flood, Texas Flood. So I hope I'm right on that one, because I'm going to have some Stevie Ray people just tear me up in the comments if I'm wrong. And if I am, you can. But I believe it was Texas Flood was his album that came out the same year. But he did a lot of the guitar work on this, and almost went on tour with him, and apparently decided at the last minute, his management's like, nope, we're not going on tour. We're going to be pushing your stuff. But did Bowie did he launch Stevie Ray Vaughan? I don't know. Hard to say. But I know that this is technically before Texas Flood dropped. This album came out. So, and then we all know Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, he went on to be more than infamous guitar player. Fantastic stuff. Musical book or movie that I would recommend. I'm going to recommend, and I don't have the book, it's at work. I read it on my breaks. I've been reading it on my breaks now, but Phil Collins has a book out called Not Dead Yet. And so I would recommend some Phil Collins. This is Face Value. Love this record. Just thought I would show this, but yeah, Phil Collins. He's amazing. I love this guy. You don't get much better than Phil Collins, in my opinion. As you guys know, I'm a huge Genesis and Phil Collins fan. So this is just fantastic stuff. It's great. It's poppy. It's synth poppy. It's dark poppy. There's horns. There's all kinds of things, all kinds of emotions that go on in a Phil Collins record, and this is highly enjoyable. And probably one of the only drummers that can get by without having heads on the bottom of his drums. I don't know. It's just that Phil Collins sounds they sound so flat, but I don't know. There's something about them. I really dig that sound of his. All right, so batting average, artist who consistently makes good albums. So I'm going to talk about these guys. I'm missing one of their albums, and that's their final one called Laughingstock, which I'm going to be picking up at some time in the near future. But I recently found this, and this is their first mini album. It's their introductory mini album of the band Talk Talk. So, you guys, Mark Hollis, definite artist. They kind of came in on the scene as a synth pop, new romantic style of band. Talk Talk did. So you can check out there's old Mark Hollis right there. He passed away in 2019, and what a loss. If you're not familiar with Talk Talk, it's consistent. Party's Over, fantastic record. It's My Life, fantastic record. And they just get better and better and better and better and better and better and better. So you get into Spirit of Eden, where they kind of go off the rails. So you started getting into art pop and the Color of Spring. In Spirit of Eden, they go off the rails, and they start a new genre of music, basically called post-rock, which you would see bands like Radiohead do. And Laughingstock is apparently the pinnacle of the post-rock, and it's also their final album. I don't have that yet, but I did find this Talk Talk mini album at Vintage Vinyl in St. Louis the day after Christmas. I was very stoked to have this. So, very cool. Talk Talk. Consistently good. Just any album you can pick up by Talk Talk, you're probably gonna like it. All right, an underrated album. What, perhaps one of the most underrated albums. You guys probably don't even know who these guys are. I showed this record in my very first video, and this is a band from Canada. They're called Frozen Ghost. This album, guys, is awesome. They're a three-piece from Canada. They're kind of rock, new wave-ish, just the message, great vocals, great production value. If you see this album, guys, I picked this up for $2, and it was in like new condition. So aside from it's one of the saw cut, but it was like in brand new condition. If you guys see this album out and about, it's so worth the under $5 that you're gonna spend on it if you're liking that kind of thing. Very new wavy, very rock and roll of the 80s, just hooky stuff. A great record. The opening track, Should I See, will blow your mind, and then everything after it is just as good. So Frozen Ghost and their album. These guys actually went on tour with Howard Jones, I want to say, and my sister picked up the cassette after seeing them live with Howard Jones in St. Louis back in the 80s. And that's how I knew who Frozen Ghost was. And I've loved them since I was a kid. And when I saw this record for $2, I jumped on it. And this is one of those records, if I ever see it again, I'm going to jump on it just to hand it out for some VCLT to somebody, because I'm telling you guys, this is a great record. Frozen Ghost. If you ever see it out and about, check it out. All right, same album, different cover. I didn't even know this. I wanted to find an upgrade copy. This would be the upgrade copy of Simple Minds' Once Upon a Time. This was an upgrade copy that I found at Vintage Vinyl the day after Christmas. And when I got home, I looked at my other cover and I realized that it was different. You see that? So these albums kind of go together. Kind of do this thing here. It's pretty cool. Different. And I would have never known that. I was almost going to show Abacab by Genesis, but I figured I'd, probably pounded you guys into the ground with Phil Collins and my love of the guy. But as you can see, this album goes together pretty cool. Same album, different cover. Didn't know that happened. Simple Minds, Once Upon a Time. It's a great album. If you guys ever get a chance, this is some. It's kind of an album where they kind of made a change. I know that some people aren't big fans of it, but good record there. Love Simple Minds. So an album I bought cheap that's now worth money. And guys, I'm gonna have to get up or I'm just gonna have to slide back in my chair here and find this record. I'm gonna slide back up. You see what this is? I got this at a garage sale for $2. And I didn't realize that at the time there was this thing called white label promos. This is when I first got into collecting vinyl. This is 2012, 2013. And I picked up this album for $2. It's Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love. And it's a white label promo. Which, since the movie The Dirt, this has gone up in value. Now, it does have some corner damage there. But there you go. Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love. Little Sticky Fingers cover homage there. I guess I could have used this for an homage to a cover that pays homage to another artist. So we'll go ahead and we'll just double that. We'll double down on that one. I didn't even realize this. Sticky Fingers. This is an homage cover to that one as well. But yeah, this I paid $2 for this. I'm sure it's worth more than that. I don't know how much. I don't know. Last time I checked, it was like 50 or 60 bucks. I don't know. But since The Dirt came out, I wanted to check it out. So Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love. Very raw record, that one. All right. Favorite drummer. Guys, are you going to be shocked when I say that my favorite drummer is a guy by the name of Phil Collins? Okay. Why is he my favorite drummer? This dude has drum riffs. I mean, the most famous. Boom, 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 boom. In the air tonight. I don't care anymore. The whole song is based around a drum riff. Love it. Phil Collins is my favorite drummer. If you don't think he's a good drummer, take a listen to The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. You'll hear how good of a drummer that Phil Collins is. Phil Collins is an amazing drummer. He's not the best drummer in the world. I said favorite drummer. He's my favorite. Phil Collins, of course. There's a lot of Phil Collins love in this. And my gosh, guys, if you've been here for 30 minutes, man, bully to you, man, because I'm telling you, I'm just rambling on about these rekkids. All right, an album turning 20 in 2020. Guys, I don't have an album that was from 2000. I don't. I was looking and I could not find it. I went through CDs. I have albums that were from 1999. I have albums that were from 2001. I could not find one record from 2000. So I had to go with 1999. And this album, I had no idea about. I had no idea about this artist until this year, and I'm going back to him. This video is a love letter to David Sylvian and Phil Collins. David Sylvian's Dead Bees on a Cake. Great album, beautiful record, beautifully produced. This is a repress that was done last year for the 20th anniversary of it. It is a beautiful gatefold. The artwork, it's nice cardstock, it's substantial. This is a gorgeous sounding record. Love me some David Sylvian. There's tracks on here with Dobro. There's tracks on here just that they just kind of takes you on a journey, this entire record. It's Dead Bees on a Cake by David Sylvian. This is not one of the ambient experimental albums. This is definitely more in a style of David Sylvian, which is a friend of mine, Dave, says David Sylvian is never not melancholy. So if you like a good baritone voice, David Sylvian is the way to go. And it's a great record, Dead Bees on a Cake. So, and that's not the last. A trilogy of albums, 3 solid albums, back to back to back, the same artist or bands, should be a connecting thread. Okay, so speaking of David Sylvian, I wanted to talk about Japan. All right, so Japan, this one, Quiet Life. This is their first album where they started kind of going into that synth pop direction. Before, in their previous 2 albums, these guys were more of a glam band. This album, disco, synth pop, kind of on that level, still way artier than your disco or your synth pop. But this is Quiet Life, and this was followed up by Gentlemen Wear Polaroids, or Gentlemen don't wear Polaroids, they take Polaroids. This album, David Sylvian there, they start getting really into the synth pop sound in this record. It's fully realized. And then with 10 Drum, they come about full circle, and this is more of an art pop album. You guys that are in the UK, you might know the song Ghosts. That was a huge hit off of this record in the 80s. I never heard of it before this past year. I never heard of David Sylvian Japan until 2019, and this has been the best discovery of music that I've had so far this year. Love this stuff. So, guys, I'm still like looking for this unique center label, and there's just, I'm gonna have to cheat on this one, and I'm just gonna have to say, this is a cool label, and it's the only one of these that I have, and it's from the Areola label, and that is a pretty cool label, I think. I like that. I like the way it looks. So we're going to call that a unique center label. It's just because I don't see that often. So there you go. There's my vinyl tag. Yes, to those of you wondering, I am alive, but not well until I get over this cold. So you guys, take it easy. Have a wonderful beginning to 2020. I have got a metal update video coming. I've got some killer finds. I can't wait to show you guys. So you guys, take it easy. You guys keep digging them rekkids, all right? Peace out. You guys have a great year. I hope all of you are well, and be excellent to each other, all right? Peace out. We'll talk to you later. Bye.